Wednesday, the 25th October 2023, the Meru County Assembly approved a motion to remove from office by way of impeachment Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. Whereas by a letter referenced M-CARES Volume 4/43, dated the 26th of October 2023, and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Friday, 27th of October 2023, the Speaker of the Meru County Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion by the County Assembly and further forwarded the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. Further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act and Standing Order number 80 of the Senate had the County Assembly on the grounds for removal from office by impeachment of the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, Governor of Meru County.
Order, honorable senators. Take your seats and may the majority leader be heard in silence.
And further, whereas pursuant to Article 180 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act and the Standing Order number 80, the Senate also had the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza on the grounds for her proposed removal from office by impeachment as a Governor of Meru County. Now, therefore, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, Standing Order number 80, the Senate resolves to remove from office by impeachment the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County, on the following charges. Charge number 1, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. Charge number 2, nepotism and related unethical practices. Charge number 3, bullying, vilification, and demeaning other leaders. Charge number 4, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers. Charge number 5, contempt of court. Charge number 6, illegally naming a public road after her husband. Charge number 7, contempt of the Assembly. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice.
Next order, clerk.
Order number 4, motion, hearing and the determination of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County.
The majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following motion. The hearing and the determination of the proposed removal from office by impeachment, by way of impeachment of the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, Governor of Meru County. Mr. Speaker, that whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, on Wednesday, the 25th of October 2023, the Meru County Assembly approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. And whereas by a letter referenced M-CARES/Volume 14/43, dated the 26th of October 2023, and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Friday, the 27th of October 2023, the Speaker of the Meru County Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion by the County Assembly and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. Further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order number 80 of the Senate has had the County Assembly on the grounds for removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County, and further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order number 80, the Senate has also had the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza on the grounds for her proposed removal from office by impeachment as a Governor of Meru County. Now, therefore, Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, Standing Order number 80, the Senate resolves to remove from office by impeachment the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, Governor of Meru County, on the following charges. Charge number 1, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. Charge number 2, nepotism and related unethical practices. Charge number 3, bullying, vilification, and demeaning other leaders. Charge number 4, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers. Charge number 5, contempt of court. Charge number 6, illegally naming a public road after her husband. And finally, charge number 7, contempt of the county assembly. Mr. Speaker, we have had an interesting 2 days. And on such moments, Mr. Speaker, having sat through the motions of an impeachment hearing, the 14th one that this August House, Mr. Speaker, has an enormous duty of having to make a determination of. I have been reminded many times, listening to the proceedings right from the beginning, Mr. Speaker, the words of Proverbs chapter 18, verse 17, which guides us that the first to speak in a contest seems innocent until the cross-examiner takes to stage. Listening to the conversation, Mr. Speaker, hasn't been an easy duty because we have listened to accusations, counter-accusations, further accusations, Mr. Speaker, and so on and so forth. The enormous duty before this August House this evening, Mr. Speaker, is to make a very serious determination. Honorable members, the 1.5 million citizens of Meru County, occupying a space of 7,000 kilometers squared of this Republic of Kenya, have their fate in your hands and are looking up to you, the 47 delegations of this House, to guide their county towards prosperity and lead them in a way that, like the rest of all the citizens of the Republic, can enjoy the fruits of devolution. Perhaps, arguably, one of the best gifts that Kenyans have bequeathed unto themselves since independence. There is no doubt, Mr. Speaker, having sat here the last 2 days and listening to all the things that we have had opportunity to listen to and seen the videos that have been played, that there is trouble in Meru, that there are difficulties, that county, Mr. Speaker, needs assistance of this House. How you choose to assist the people of Meru, my good friends and colleagues, is in your hands. It is you to make a wise decision. We were reminded that in the next 48 hours, when we went through the motions of an impeachment hearing trial by plenary yesterday morning, Mr. Speaker, that convert yourself from being just an ordinary senator and be a neutral arbiter, be a sober judge, and deliver wise ruling and judgment that will leave the people of Meru County happy. I don't envy you. In fact, Mr. Speaker, after the conclusion of the trial, presented so ably by both lead counsels for the Assembly and the Governor, people that I know so well, and I've had opportunity to work with both of them in different forums, I actually had to seek solace in the Bible again, something that I do when I find myself at crossroads, and read the story that is found in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 3, verse 16 to 28, where two women, and I intentionally avoid to characterize them as the Bible does because of certain connotations, Mr. Speaker, that have been issued in the process of moving this motion, had a disagreement with both claiming that the dead child belongs to the other, while the one that is alive belongs to them. And when they appeared before King Solomon, the wise judge made a decision that many of us do agree up to date, Mr. Speaker, that was incredibly wise and made the right decision in awarding the correct baby to the correct mother. Mr. Speaker, that is a duty that all the 47 delegations have today, to make a decision and see to which mother are you going to give Meru County? Because there is a part of Meru that is dead, there is a part of Meru that is alive. The duty that is before you, colleague senators, is to determine who has killed their baby and which mother should be left with which baby. Colleagues, I do not intend to be long on this process because you all understand the constraints of time that we have, the very difficult decisions that we have to make tonight, and you know very ably that by the stroke of midnight, we need to have made certain conclusions, or at least have converted into the exercise of voting. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, we will be forced to adjourn and wait until you gazette another sitting. And since it is not my intention, Mr. Speaker, to get us to that phase, I want to humbly request my colleagues to take time and think about the citizens of Meru as you make your final determination on how this matter should continue. Because, like we have listened, we have been properly advised that there are no easy decisions. Whether to impeach or not to impeach, each leaves us with a very difficult situation. In fact, in the course of consultations, many senators have walked up to me and suggested that, Majority Leader, why don't we as a House invoke Article 192 of the Constitution and just ask the people of Meru that they have a fresh start, that you send all these people packing and have the county dissolved. And perhaps after that realization, then the people of Meru can enjoy the fruits of devolution. It's not an easy decision. It's not an easy task that is ahead of us. To save or not to save is not just about whether you have been convinced or not convinced, because every decision that you make, when you eventually press the button to vote either yes, no, or even, I'm afraid, Senator Sifuna, even abstain has consequences today, unlike in other occasions. Colleague senators, this is a moment. I know that each of you pensively sat down, listened, and has reached a decision. But I'm willing to be convinced, and I guess that is the exercise that you're about to make in the next 1 hour. Listen to whatever points you have picked out from the trial that has gone on here, and hope that on any of the 7 charges that have been presented, it will be good to hear from you. Do you agree that all charges have either not been substantiated or some of them have been? The eventual point that I make, Mr. Speaker, is that eventually Meru will still need us, even after this vote, dear senators. When we conclude on this exercise and the vote tonight, it is my humble submission, Mr. Speaker, that we will still need to retreat and think through what options are available for that particular county. I am particularly troubled, Mr. Speaker, because, to be sincere, I never knew of all those happenings until I saw the videos today. We must speak and condemn some of the things that we have seen in that particular video. I am a father of 2 girls, Mr. Speaker, and I'd wish to live a safe and a better heaven for my daughters eventually when I am out of leadership. Some of the things that we have seen, either leaders say or do, I'm afraid, Mr. Speaker, that is not the kind of world that we want for our sisters, for our mothers, for our daughters, for our wives. And I hope, Mr. Speaker, that because these videos have been brought to fore, it should not just end here in the Senate. I strongly believe that it is within the mandate of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, because these are ethics issues. When leaders say certain things about each other, EACC needs to pick cue and begin to question us so that we behave better and move from this kind of corruption of our moral fiber of our society. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and request the leader of minority, the Honorable retired Justice Stewart Madzayo, to second this motion. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kwanza nataka kuwashukuru maseneta kwa utulivu wao katika hizi siku mbili ambazo wameweza kuchukua kusikiza huu mjadala. Bwana Spika, huu ni mjadala ambao uko mbele ya Senate. Ni mjadala ambao unatakana sisi tuusikize na alafu tuweze kufanya uamuzi ikiwa yako ushahidi wa kutosha, aidha kufurusha kutoka kwa ofisi, ama ikiwa hakuna, kuweza kumpatia nafasi nyingine aweze kuendelea. Huyu ambaye ni Gavana Mwangaza wa Meru County. Bwana Spika, kibarua hichi, kama kuna wakati wowote ambao Senate inatakana kujitambua na kuweza kuonekana ikiwa iko kazini na inafanya kazi, ni wakati huu ambao inahusikana na serikali zetu za mashinani. Manake wakati huu ni wakati wa kujitambua sasa, ya kwamba mtu ambaye amefanya makosa anaweza kuchukuliwa hatua, ama mtu ambaye amefanya makosa lakini si ada ya kiwango cha juu anaweza kupewa nafasi kuweza kuendelea. Bwana Spika, cha umuhimu katika mjadala huu wetu ambao umeletwa katika kipengele cha 181 cha katiba, na vile vile katika kipengele cha 33 cha katika County Government Act, na vile vile kulingana na kanuni zetu za kudumu za bunge la Senate kipengele cha 80. Bwana Spika, kibarua kilichokuwa hapa jana na leo ni kibarua kikubwa sana. Tumeweza kukaa ndani ya hii bunge letu la Senate kuanzia mapema wakati wa saa 8:30, na tumeweza kuendelea jana mpaka jioni, tumefika saa 6 usiku, na hivi leo vile vile tumeanza mpaka sasa bado tuko hapa. Bwana Spika, hili ni jambo nataka kuwapatia kongole maseneta wote walioko hapa kwa kazi yao nzuri walioweza kuifanya kusikiza mjadala huo. Bwana Spika, Wakenya wote hivi sasa macho yako katika nyumba ya Senate na wanaangalia, na wameweza kujionea katika wale mawakili wazuri, mawakili ambao ni majabali wa sheria, wameweza kusema kwa upande wa Gavana Kawira na kwa upande vile vile wa County Assembly ya Meru. Tumeweza kuwasikiza na tuna hakika ya kwamba masenators wetu wataweza kuamua mashtaka haya kwa njia inayotakana kisheria na kulingana na kanuni zetu za bunge. Bwana Spika, cha umuhimu ni kwamba sote sisi ni wazazi, na pengine ningeweza kujiunga pamoja na ndugu yangu hapa Aaron Cheriot aliyesema yeye pia yuko na watoto. Pia mimi niko na watoto wawili wa kike, ambao cha kwanza mimi sikuweza kufahamu kabisa ya kwamba kama kuna picha ambazo zinaweza kuonyeshwa na ukajitafakari we mwenyewe, kama ni mke wako, ni mamako, ni ndugu yako wa kike, ni mtoto wako wa kike. Lakini hayo ya kijiri vile vile kuna aina mbalimbali ambapo tunaweza kuangalia na kuona kama kulikuwa na kosa ama hakukuwa na kosa. Njia muhimu ya sisi kufata ni kuangalia kanuni zetu za bunge na katiba inasema nini. Kwa hiyo ndugu zangu maseneta, mlioko hapa mko na wajibu mkubwa sana. Sisi tukiwa hapa, nataka kuwaeleza Wakenya wote, ikifika time kama hii, hakuna ya kwamba hawa wako pati hii, hawa wako pati hii. Tunaangalia ukweli umesimama wapi, na bunge la Senate linasimama na ukweli. Kwa hiyo mimi nataka kuambia Wakenya wote wasiwe na wasiwasi. Tumesikiza na kila mtu atatoa wajibu wake. Wale maseneta ambao watatoa wajibu wake, kila mtu ataamua katika kosa la kwanza mpaka kosa la 7 kama wamekubaliana ama wamekataa, na ukweli utadhihirika wazi na uamuzi utafanyika hivi leo hapa ndani ya bunge la Senate. Mimi tu ni kuwatakia kila laheri katika uamuzi wenu. Uamuzi wenu na imani nao ya kwamba Wakenya wote kuanzia leo watakuwa na imani na bunge la Senate. Asante sana Bwana Speaker.
Thank you, honorable senators. I will now proceed to propose the question, which is that whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, on Wednesday, 25th of October 2023, the Meru County Assembly approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. Whereas by a letter reference M. Cares, volume 4/43, dated the 26th of October 2023, and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Friday, 27th of October 2023, the Speaker of the Meru County Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion by the County Assembly, and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. Further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 80 of the Senate had the County Assembly on the grounds for removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. And further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order number 80 of the Senate, the Senate also had the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza on the grounds for a proposed removal from office by impeachment as the Governor of Meru County. Now, therefore, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and the Standing Order 80, the Senate resolves to remove from office by impeachment the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County, on the following charges. Charge 1, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. Charge number 2, nepotism and related unethical practices. Charge number 3, bullying, vilification and demeaning other leaders. Charge number 4, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers. Charge number 5, contempt of court. Charge number 6, illegally naming a public road after her husband. And charge number 7, contempt of the County Assembly. Now, honorable senators, we may now proceed to debate. What is your point of order, Senator Cherange?
Mr. Speaker, as per Standing Order number 111, I propose that we move limitation of debate and allow each and every senator to speak for 3 minutes. If you can push that one up to around 11:25, Mr. Speaker, sir, then between 11:25, by at least we give also chance governor to reply, and from around 11:40, Mr. Speaker, we can now move to vote so that we don't run afoul of the Gazette notice that you issue, and we are able to finish under today so that we don't need to Gazette another day. Mr. Speaker, I propose and request Senator Wambua to second.
Why am I getting directions on what to do from all over? Mr. Speaker, I'm a ranking member in this House. Mr. Speaker, I second the motion by Senator Chelagay.
Now, honorable senators, I need not subject that motion to debate. I will proceed to put the question, which is, as many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. So 3 minutes per senator speaking. The Honorable Enoch Wambua.
Good. Hey. Mr. Speaker, I will try to say a lot of things in 3 minutes. First of all, Mr. Speaker, I want to go on record on this impeachment motion that it is clear to this House, to this country, and to the world that the relationships between the governor of Meru and the members of the County Assembly of Meru is almost irreparably broken down. The Speaker, in the words of one of the lawyers, there is a state of madness in Meru. The Speaker, the parties before the Senate to process this impeachment motion have come to us seeking justice. And that is what they must expect. Justice for the parties and justice for the people of Meru. The Speaker, this Senate must decline the invitation by any party to take sides and move in a direction for whatever reason. This Senate, the Speaker, was available to the parties. They had an opportunity to approach the Senate Standing Committee on Devolution to settle their issues. They passed that opportunity. Both parties, the Speaker, have treated this House and these members and the millions of Kenyans that we represent to a charade of accusations and counter-accusations, all aimed at self-preservation and serving certain political interests. The Speaker, I'll just give 2 examples. The County Assembly of Meru has come to this House with allegations of relatives of the governor being used to embezzle county funds. When that matter was put to test, the evidence on record by the County Assembly is that 1, it is in the public domain that these are relatives of the governor. And secondly, the Speaker, they said that we have seen them take photos. And from those photos, there's a display of public affection. How are we in Kitui supposed to make a decision on the relationship between the governor and our sisters on account of a photo that I don't even know where it has come from? The Assembly failed a basic test to just draw a family tree and show us the relationships. The governor herself, Mr. Speaker.
Your time is up. Senator Boni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order, honorable senators. Senator Boni, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, so much. Mr. Speaker, the violence, the inability for leaders to work together in Meru is not new. What is new will be how we shall manage it. It happened in Makueni. Professor Kibuda Kibwana was treated in exactly the same way that Governor Kawira Mwangaza is being treated. And he ended up being the best performing governor in the Republic of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, the only thing we got from the impeachment of Nairobi was to be settled with a debt of $250 million shillings for the Green Park terminal that has never been used, that will never be used. Impeaching governors is not always the best solution. Mr. Speaker, sir, Kiambu, the second richest county in this republic, lost 5 years because this Senate was in a hurry to respond to political feelings outside the Senate, and they brought problems in Kiambu for 5 years. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to lawyers of the Republic of Kenya. When you are a lawyer, it doesn't mean you are everything. I have listened to the presentation of Dr. Thiangulu, my own friend, about the evidence of IFMIS. I'm shocked, completely, Mr. Speaker, and as the longest-serving chairman of public accounts in the Republic of Kenya, I can confirm that I know IFMIS. Mr. Speaker, if you indulge me, no IFMIS report comes out with one transaction, impressed, up to the end. No. IFMIS report, Mr. Speaker, comes out with what was spent on interest and what was spent on other expenses. And Mr. Speaker, everything that comes out on IFMIS does not turn out to be genuine. There is something at the end of IFMIS, Mr. Speaker, where the IFMIS report rejects. Mr. Speaker, if we go by that report without subjecting this to an audit report.
Your time is up. Your time is up, Senator Boni. You're off record. You're off record. Senator Kavindu. Order. Order, members. Order, members. Order, member. Order, Senator Boni. Order. Senator Boni, kindly take your seat. Order. Order, honorable senators. Order. Senator Boni, Senator Mundigi. You will be watching this session from your lounge if you proceed that way. Senator Kavindu, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I want to say that it has been a good time to listen to both parties, the County Assembly and the governor's side. But, Mr. Speaker, if I may be very honest, if there's a day in this House I was disappointed, is today. Because when I listened, these are issues that would have been solved at Meru level. Those are not issues to be brought to the Senate, because there is no weighty issues that cannot be solved at Meru. The only issue that was very heavy for me is the abusive words that those men used on the governor. I cried. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to walk and go because I could not bear watching the abusive words that were being used to the governor. We are women, yes. We are educated, just like the men.
Who is that who set an alarm to wake up to go where? Can you hold that time for Senator Kavindu?
Yes, please hold the time for
senators,
me.
Put your phones on silent mode.
Mr. Speaker, we are women. We are women, we have daughters, and we need to be given space in political arenas that we may also portray our potential like any other person. We are leaders, and we can lead, but we don't need this kind of bullying, because even if, if we are given space, we can work. People of Machakos today ask me, was this potential within you all those years because of what I do? I am sure the way I've seen the MCIs working with the governor, if they are given humble time and no insights from anywhere, they can work and they can deliver. Mr. Speaker, I'm very disappointed, and I don't see anything that can make anyone go. Thank you, Mr.
Senator Ali Roba.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We've listened for the last 2 days on issues that have been raised by the National Assembly, County Assembly of Meru and the governor's team. And as an experienced governor, I've listened very keenly on issues that touch on the running of the office. And I've picked 3 very critical issues that came to light. And also, as I watched the premeditated position of leaders within Meru, that came out very clearly in terms of, a position that really indicated that the governor has become an unwanted person and at whatever cost, they needed to get rid of her. That has also come out extremely clearly. And, as I listened very keenly, the examination and cross-examination, and because we used the plenary format, the senators were just at the mercy of trying to internalize what is being shared and the cross-examination that was being shared. And the time to cross-examine was not sufficient for us to get out the information that was required. However, it has been, in the last one year and few months, we've handled 3 impeachments in the Senate. By far, this will be the most difficult, the most testing in terms of conscience and decision for the senators in this House. However, what is in question is a very weighty matter, regardless of which direction we are going to take as senators. I don't see a solution ahead as a governor who has served for 10 years, whether the governor is impeached or the impeachment of the governor is not approved by this House. I see sadness moving forward, regardless of whichever way we're going to vote. And that has been consciously the most disturbing position for me as a leader who has served as a governor for 10 years. Because I've said, if we go this way, what will be the result? If we go this way, what will be the result? And I don't see light at the end of the tunnel.
Senator Ledama.
Mr. Speaker, I speak here today as a father of 2 lovely daughters whom I'd like to see grow, become leaders like the way God has blessed me. What I witnessed today, Mr. Speaker, is something which negates that dreams if we do not stand and to be counted. What I've witnessed today, Mr. Speaker, is this Senate being reduced into being an internal audit. Mr. Speaker, the lawyers presented something which negates the Public Audit Act Section 31, which is quite clear on the process of audit. Mr. Speaker, sir, Article 228, Section 5 is very clear. It says the controller of budget shall not authorize any withdrawal of funds from the county revenue fund unless she's satisfied that that withdrawal is authorized by law. Mr. Speaker, sir, we've been entertained by a charade of just nuendos. There was nothing that you can be able to prove. I am a ranking member of the Senate Public Accounts Committee, And I know the process. I know what IFMIS is. I know the PFM Act, Section 103, establishes a county treasury, and he puts in the treasurer or the CMC as the head of that fund. Mr. Speaker, sir, I sat down here, and to be honest with you, when I watched those videos, something came to my mind. And I said, you know what? That conference of 1885 in Berlin Conference was ill-advised. The British should have just left us with our uncouth and civilized behaviors. To see a honorable member, someone who calls himself a honorable member, walking across the streets of our civilized nation, what we call civilized, and saying that certain weapons or certain tools should be used to be able to punish a woman. It's uncouth and uncivilized, and shame on them. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have gone through the 7 allegations, and none of them, Mr. Speaker, sir, has been substantiated. We are being introduced, we are being invited, Mr. Speaker, sir, to get into a conflict of manhood and womanhood. Mr. Speaker, sir, I second the sentiments of the majority leader when he said that it's about time that if these leaders of Meru cannot get their act together, we might as well call a commission of inquiry to suspend that county. It is ridiculous, Mr. Speaker, sir, and we cannot allow this Senate to be reduced to that. Mr. Speaker, sir, we should know better.
Senator Nyamu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have listened very carefully to the submissions from both sides since the beginning of this matter. Mr. Speaker, the million-dollar questions for this House and my colleagues is, does this matter before us meet the threshold for impeachment? And I want to quote the guidelines given by the Supreme Court of the threshold of conduct of the counsel for the county assembly alluded as gross misconduct. Mr. Speaker, is the conduct of the county governor of Meru, is it grave? Is it disgusting? Is it heinous? And is it audacious? And all that appertains gross misconduct? The answer is no. Mr. Speaker, we must not, as a House, drown in the murky waters that is Meru politics. We must be very careful that we do not drown as a House in those murky waters. Mr. Speaker, the MCAs of Meru have failed to demonstrate that they can be independent and they can make decisions that are not influenced from outside. And we must not join them. Mr. Speaker, I want to say tonight that the matter before us should not have got here. I do not see how this matter got here, because this is pure politics that should be handled at the ground in Meru. I am very saddened, I am very disappointed, and I am not going to be part, let it be known by those I am disappointing tonight, that I cannot be, as Senator Kawira Nyamu, I am not going to be part of ending a young career of the woman governor of Meru simply because she did not take a tea invitation from so-and-so. She does not get along with whoever. We're experiencing that in Nairobi.
Your time is up. Your time is up. Senator Kajwang. Order. Order, senators. Order. Order, senators. Can Senator Kajwang be heard in silence? Senator Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, I first want to congratulate the County Assembly of Meru. They have done their constitutional mandate. And if this parliament did half of what the County Assembly of Meru has done over the last 1 year, Mr. Speaker, the cost of living would be much lower. And some people will not be living in the houses they are living up on hills. I want to congratulate the County Assembly of Meru that whatever the outcome of today, they should not go home feeling that they did the wrong thing. They undertook their constitutional mandate. Mr. Speaker, today we are damned if we do, we are damned if we don't. Let me make it clear. The misogyny that has been demonstrated in some of the videos, the chauvinism, the incitement to tribal hatred has no place in a modern Kenya. And Mr. Speaker, those are things that we should not be massaging. Those are criminal actions. Gender-based violence is such a grave criminal action that if I had an option to ask the governor a question, I would have asked whether she reported those matters to the police, because impunity breeds in silence. Mr. Speaker, from the submissions, it appears as if everybody in Meru is mad. We are in a season of madness in Meru. And that, Mr. Speaker, the only sane person in Meru today is the governor and the spouse. That is what has come out of the submissions. But, Mr. Speaker, could that be true? That all the great men and women of Meru, including the Deputy Speaker of this House, are mad, are in a season of madness, and the only lucid person can be the governor? Mr. Speaker, that presupposes and that indicates there's a big, big problem that an impeachment cannot solve. Mr. Speaker, we have a patient with 2 damaged kidneys. We take out 1 kidney, the patient will not survive. You take out the governor, you leave the assembly, you still have a problem. You reinstate the kidney, which is the governor, you still have a problem. Mr. Speaker, Article 192 says that where a county government has irretrievably broken down, that county should be suspended, that county should be sent to a fresh election. And Mr. Speaker, even though we do not have the original jurisdiction on that, I want to encourage the citizens of Meru to call for a suspension of the county government, to send Governor Kawira Mwangaza back to the people, and to send the MCAs back to the people. We have been told a lot of stories about who is popular and who is not popular. But finally, Mr. Speaker, let us not forget that in 2010, this nation discharged Nancy Baraza of a role as a Deputy Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Kenya on very spurious allegations. But that has set a precedent. That has been part of our jurisprudence. If we were to go with that threshold, then Governor Kawira Mwangaza should go home.
Senator Wakoli.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Nashukuru sana kwa nafasi hii ambayo nimepewa kujadili hoja nzito za usawa, haki na ukweli. Mheshimiwa, ukipewa nafasi kutafuta amani kati ya wendawazimu wawili, unashindwa utaanza vipi? Ama iwapo wewe ni mhubiri na unamuombea mwendawazimu, Mheshimiwa Spika, utafumba macho ukiomba ama utayakodoa macho pima ukiomba? Hiyo ndio hali tumo sasa. Tunakashifu matamshi mabaya dhidi ya wanawake, lakini pia lazima tukashifu matendo mabaya yanayotendwa na wanawake. Iwapo kuna ubadhirifu wa pesa, lazima tuseme. Iwapo kuna matusi dhidi ya wanawake na jinsia zao, lazima tukashifu. Iwapo viongozi hawawezi kaa pamoja na kujadiliana, lazima tuseme ukweli. Kwa sababu sisi katika jamii yetu tunasema maji yasipotifuliwa hayawezi tulia. Haya maji ya Meru yametifuliwa, Mheshimiwa Spika, lazima tuache yatokote na yatulie. Yamefika hapa, Mheshimiwa Spika, yanatokota, lazima tuamue yatulie, watu wa Meru wasonge mbele. Haiwezekani viongozi hawa kusema yale wanayosema pasipo shinikizo ama kunyoshewa vidole na viongozi wengine. Iwapo wewe unasema ni bishop na unasema wenye wivu wajinyonge, ni mahubiri yapi tunaendeleza katika nchi ya Kenya? Lazima tuseme ukweli. Tumejadili mambo ya wahubiri wawe wa ukweli, viongozi wawe wa ukweli, na bado nitasema fisi aliambia mawe, hata tukinyamaza vipi mumesikia, na lazima tupige kura turekebishe mambo ya Meru. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Mogeni.
Mr. Speaker, if there is an image that had stuck with me ever since this impeachment trial started, it is the image I saw of some acts against the governor of Meru. Mr. Speaker, I can be rough in politics. Mr. Speaker, I can make mistakes in politics, but I will never, and I've never descended to the level I saw in the videos that were displayed before this House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, however much you hate a human being, Mr. Speaker, if you are a Christian or you believe in the Almighty God, Mr. Speaker, there are some utterances you cannot make against some other human beings when you are a leader, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, despite the wrongdoings we have seen against the governor of Meru, Mr. Speaker, we must ask ourselves, Mr. Speaker, when history is written, Mr. Speaker, and we are the 47 of us who sat here, Mr. Speaker, how did our conscience respond to the videos that were played before us, Mr. Speaker? How will the people of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, judge us? Because it is not just the governor who is on trial, Mr. Speaker. It is the Senate of the Republic of Kenya that is on trial tonight, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, I want to state at 11:45, Mr. Speaker, without fear of any contradiction, that the vote I have tonight, Mr. Speaker, the one delegation from Nyamira, Mr. Speaker, I owe my vote, Mr. Speaker, to the great women of this country called Kenya, Mr. Speaker. I owe my vote, Mr. Speaker, to the women who have faith in me from the county of Nyamira, Mr. Speaker. I owe my vote, Mr. Speaker, to the great woman who raised me, Mama Nyamokami. And, Mr. Speaker, I want to give confidence tonight to the woman who will receive me when I go home, my wife Jacqueline, that I have respect for the women of this republic, Mr. Speaker. And when I cast my vote, Mr. Speaker, is to give assurance to my two lovely daughters, Nyamokami and Aliero, that we must treat the women of Kenya with honor and respect, Mr. Speaker. That is the vote that I carry, Mr. Speaker, tonight. I rest my case, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Tobiko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank you. And Mr. Speaker, throughout this impeachment petition, Mr. Speaker, I took my time to listen to both sides without trying to give my advice to my sister, as was expected by many Kenyans and by many people in Meru. Mr. Speaker, the counsel for the county assembly, Thiangolu, has said that quite a number of charges were like repetitions of the same charges that were in the first impeachment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, then I don't know whether this was just an appeal of what this House had already made a decision on, Mr. Speaker. They could be allowed by law, Mr. Speaker, but I don't think they should have then wasted the time of this House, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, because of time, my submission this evening, Mr. Speaker, is that there could be administrative omissions and commissions. But, Mr. Speaker, do they meet the threshold of impeachment, Mr. Speaker? As far as I'm concerned, these are non-impeachable offenses, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what we have seen throughout these 2 days is hounding of a woman out of office through emotional abuse, through intimidation, through slander, Mr. Speaker, through threats on her life, Mr. Speaker. We have also seen tribal and ethnic profiling, Mr. Speaker, issues that I think NCIC should pick up, Mr. Speaker. And I would want, Mr. Speaker, to advise the governor of Meru that whatever happens to you this evening, there are cases here that you should take to court, Mr. Speaker. This is very scary to aspiring women of this country. Mr. Speaker, I kept asking myself, is this what is awaiting the women governors in this country, Mr. Speaker? Those who will try to get into the political positions that are the domain of men in this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would say that what the county has continued to pursue is what the Angolu had mentioned the other time, that the election brought undesired consequences, Mr. Speaker. They must live with their choice, Mr. Speaker. As far as I'm concerned, the Meru people elected Governor Kawira Mwangaza, and the will of the people is supreme, and they must live with their choice for the next 5 years. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, on my first day in this House, I took an oath to protect this Constitution. And I'm sure the people of Meru will appreciate, because they also know about oaths, why I would insist on defending this document on every occasion. Mr. Speaker, under Article 94 of this Constitution, I'm enjoined to be a protector of counties and the interests of their governments. And that is exactly what I'm going to do, whether I know anything about any of your counties, whether I have ever been there, whether I know anyone from there or not, because that is the oath that I took, Mr. Speaker. It has set a very high threshold for the removal of a governor under Article 181 on gross violation of the Constitution and the law, gross misconduct and abuse of office, or where there are serious reasons to believe that the county governor has committed a crime under national or international law. Mr. Speaker, my expectation from the county was to meet a case that demonstrates this particular standard that has been set by the Constitution. Now, there is one telling thing that came from the submissions of counsel, my good friend Thiankolu, that in fact the motivation of the MCAs does not matter. I want to try and persuade this House that motivation is everything. The reason why human beings do things is absolutely critical to the doing of those things. Mr. Speaker, because what motivation does, it sets a goal for you, and then you look for a means to get to that particular goal. We have seen the evidence that has been laid here demonstrate clearly that a decision was made that Kawira Mwangaza had to go as a governor of Meru. And then steps and plans were put in place to be able to meet that particular goal. And that is something that I cannot abide as a senator sworn to protect the interests of counties. Mr. Speaker, I want to speak to two analogies that have, been used quite extensively by the team from the county assembly. One, Mr. Speaker, is the analogy of the scorpion and the frog. I do not think anyone can ascribe the innocence of the frog in that particular analogy to the county assembly of Meru. At the very minimum, it is a scorpion being carried by a crocodile on its back, because both animals are extremely dangerous from the evidence that we have seen here. Mr. Speaker, secondly, it is this much repeated song by Shaggy called It Wasn't Me. In fact, in that particular song, council forgot that there was a collabo. There's another gentleman who's singing in that song as well. That gentleman says, I was caught live. There are photos. There is evidence. That is what we expected from the county assembly. In the evidence of the photos of this gentleman on the counter, in the shower, as the council sang, Mr. Speaker, it is difficult for me to get behind the case by the county assembly. I rest my case.
Senator Keroche.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving this opportunity. And for me, I agree there is something wrong in Meru. There's something wrong in Meru County, the Meru County. But there's a saying that says, two elephants, when they fight, the grass is the one that suffers. In this case, the grass is the Meru people. So we must ensure that we make the right decision in a very sober manner. Both parties, I can say both parties, their representation was not convincing, both parties. And whatever they brought in here, it is something I believe, as Senator Kavindo has said, could have been solved at the Senate. The two videos at the Meru, at main Meru, the videos that we've seen, they've portrayed the Meru men be very sex abusers. But for me, I can bear witness that in Nakuru, we have over 5,000 Meru men, and they respect women. So in that video, please, I ask Kenyans just to know that it's only those Meru men that were in those videos that were, it's not on the Meru men. I want to take this opportunity. I really want to take this opportunity and advise my sister, Her Excellency Governor Kawira, to rise. I mean, in the world we are living in, women to rise to the top, it takes a while, or it takes you work 5 times to reach to the top. But when you reach there, ensure you become a role model. That where women want to become like you. Men want their girls to be like you, but not their wives, because they only admire the power in you, but they don't like the power. So exercise the power that you've been installed by the Meru people very responsibly, so that the men can support you and walk with you. I've walked that journey, so I know. So look, going forward, ensure you go and unite the people of Meru. Unite all the leaders of Meru. Because believe me, in case of any...
Senator Ojenda. Senator Ojenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for according me the opportunity to make a contribution to the debate before the House on the impeachment of Senator Mwangaza under Articles 181 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is clear that the 7 charges leveled against the governor of Meru have a set threshold that must be established in now settled decisions of the Supreme Court on the impeachment of Governor Sonko and set by the Court of Appeal on the impeachment of Governor Wambora. Mr. Speaker, sir, I participated in both cases. I've also had the advantage, Mr. Speaker, sir, of participating in the impeachment of the governor of Wajir, Mr. Mohamud, who is successfully returned to office after impeachment. The threshold question, Mr. Speaker, sir, is therefore important, and I just want to address myself to that question. Mr. Speaker, sir, the charges included misappropriation and misuse of county resources, nepotism and related unethical practices, bullying, vilification, and demeaning of other leaders, as set out under Article 75, 2 and 3, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers, contempt of court, illegally naming a public road after a husband, and lastly, contempt of the county assembly. It is imperative that the threshold set, or that should be set and as properly defined in the Sonko case, should be above, somewhere above the doubt, and somewhere below below the threshold required for criminal trials. But Mr. Speaker, sir, turn to the effect of impeachments, and this is what should guide this assembly in voting.
The effect of an impeachment is to permanently bar an individual from holding any public office. So whatever you do today, you'd be barring Governor Mwangaza from holding any public office in the Republic. Is this a fair act that this Senate should sit back and undertake when voting? I think that is the $6 million question. Mr. Speaker, sir, the gender question, and I think this is something, and I don't want to talk about scorpions and crocodiles and frogs, but in my understanding of what is before this Senate, the levels that have been defined.
Is up, Senator Charanke.
Mr. Speaker, sir, one, I want to congratulate members of County Assembly. I predicted in December that we'll go back where we are today during the first impeachment. I want to thank the MCS, Mr. Speaker. It is their constitutional right. Impeachment is a political process. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy gender is not on trial. It is about the competency, the ability, and discharge of the work of the governor. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the loss of 78 million, Mr. Speaker, the County Assembly has gone beyond and proved that the governor could not account for 78 million. Mr. Speaker, that charge has been proved. Number two, Mr. Speaker, on the appointment, I was shocked, Mr. Speaker, under Article 183, Article 65, Article Section 30 and Section 45 of the County Governments Act, Mr. Speaker. You have been a governor. It is very clear that the governor abdicated. And in fact, on the record, the governor said she had delegated her role to County Secretary, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, number three, it goes to the point. Where is the 1.5 Meru people, Mr. Speaker? It cannot be that you don't agree with the MCS, you don't agree with the church, you don't agree with Njurinjeke, you don't agree with elected leaders, 10 or 11 of them, Mr. Speaker. It is not that all others are wrong, Mr. Speaker, until you disfranchise, humiliate, vilify, bully elected leaders in front of the president. Mr. Speaker, the deputy president and the president on several occasions have tried to reconcile. What is it hard for governor to work with the rest? Because whenever a problem comes, they only come up with a gender guard. And I tell you, there is a saying that is popular that what a man can do, a woman can do more. What has happened? There were insults from the men. But did you see, Mr. Speaker, on record on WhatsApp, the governor herself said to the deputy governor, you will defecate avocado seeds, Mr. Speaker. So which insult is better than the other, Mr. Speaker? We cannot hide, Mr. Speaker. We must lift the veil. For Meru to move forward, we must stand with the MCS and give them the confidence to ensure oversight, Mr. Speaker. I can assure you, Mr. Speaker, if today Governor Kawira Mwangaza, Mr. Speaker, is shown the door, Meru will heal and will go for the better going into the future. Mr. Speaker, I submit.
Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, because of the short time, I want to start by saying that from the onset, this Senate agreed that we are going to listen to this case, the merits and demerits of the case, and make a decision. Mr. Speaker, I've spent hours here, sitting here, listening to the presentation from the two parties. And I want to say that I was shocked, Mr. Speaker, as an IT expert in my other life, that the County Assembly presented to this House an extract from IFMIS. An extract from IFMIS.
Order, honorable senators. May the senator be heard in silence.
An alleged extract from IFMIS that is not verified. Mr. Speaker, this House has passed a law called the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act 2018. And I participated in processing this bill. Under Section 14, subsection 2, it is very clear that any data from a computer system, especially a computer system that is categorized under Section 9 of the same Act as a critical information infrastructure, that access must be based on a consent. Mr. Speaker, we have been presented with an extract from IFMIS which has no consent. Yes, they made an attempt to get a consent, but there are other offices which could have provided the consent, like the Controller of Budget Office, the Treasury, and even the IFMIS Directorate itself. They never made that effort. Mr. Speaker, this particular extract was provided by an anonymous person called Salasio. This man has not been brought to this house to testify. This man is not known whether this money exists or not. The house cannot, a house of parliament is a house of record. We cannot be made to sit here for hours listening to submission based on a document that is not verified, a document that is unlawful. Mr. Speaker, this house has to be respected. In addition to that, Mr. Speaker, there were some submissions given as evidence of what's up. And this matter was questioned by Senator Gloria. And the council on the other side brushed over the issue. But if you go to another law that was passed by this House, called the Data Protection Act, Section 26 of that Act talks about the data subject rights.
Senator Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I first want to start appreciating the County Assembly of Meru County for the far they've come from. It's been challenging. It's been evident out there. It's been tough. They've walked a journey like any other journey that you can walk. Every journey has turbulence. Every journey has ups and downs. I note that we have very few women governors. We have only 7. Kawira is one of them. Governor Kawira, this is the second time that you've been returned to this house. I do not agree in any capacity in regards to the videos that we've seen, especially with some of the Meru leaders who are men. Mr. Speaker, I speak as a married woman, one married from the Meru community. Meru men are respectful. What we've seen is among the few. It is sad. It should not happen. I speak as a mother of a girl child. It is sad. As women, we are very few in this house, only 21. Our positions in this government, they are few. And I want to say and urge, in the event, Madam Governor, you get a chance to go and work for the people of Meru, I challenge you and ask you and request you, bring your house in order. Because as a leader, it is not the members of parliament you will work with. It is these MCAs who have to pass your budget. It worries. If then you cannot work with them, then the budgets will not be passed. Developments will not be done. Services will not be rendered. It will be unfair for the people. If this house decides that it will be a sad affair, the worst to happen, it will be sad because we'll have reduced from 7 to 6 governors. So I request you, I urge you, that with whatever results that shall be there, we try as leaders to ensure that we try and work together, because without working with these same MCAs, there is no opportunity. I worked with you last time up there, and that is why all the time you'll find that the cameras, the gazettes, will always have my point.
Senator Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia mjadala huu muhimu. ambao uko mbele yetu. Kwanza napongeza pande zote mbili, pande ya Assembly na pande ya Governor kwa kuja bunge la Senate kujaribu kutatua matatizo yao. Na upande wowote uamuzi utakaotoka hapa ni kwamba hakuna upande ambao utakuwa umeshinda. Ni kwamba uamuzi utakaotoka hapo utakuwa ni uamuzi wa bunge ambao lazima tuukubali na vile vile pia utekeleze kama itakavyokubalika. Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi kama Waislamu tunasema kosa moja haliachi mke, haliachi bibi, kosa moja haliachi bibi. Na tunasema pia kwamba talaka ni mara 3. Unaweza kumpa bibi talaka akenda akarudi, ukampa ya pili akenda akarudi, ya 3 ndio inakuwa ya mwisho. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, Governor Kawira alikuja hapa mara ya kwanza mwaka jana nafikiri, na talaka haikuweza kupita. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika ana fursa nyingine kuja hapa kuja kuangalia ni vipi ambao tatokea matatizo yake. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kwamba ni masikitiko kwamba ushahidi uliotolewa haukuweza kuthibitisha makosa ambayo yamedaiwa kufanyika na Governor Kawira. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiangalia makosa yote ambayo yamezungumziwa hapa na ushahidi ulioletwa haukuweza kufikia kiwango ambacho kimewekwa na mahakama ya upeo kabisa, yani Supreme Court, katika kuangalia masuala kama haya. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, itakuwa ni dhuluma kubwa kuweza kumpeleka nyumbani Governor Kawira kwa ushahidi ambao haukufikia kiwango unachohitajika na mahakama. Mheshimiwa Spika, uamuzi utakaofanywa usiku wa leo hautasaidia yale matatizo ambayo yako Meru samani. Na ni jukumu la viongozi ambao wamechaguliwa wote kuhakikisha kwamba tatizo hili wameweza kulitatua wao kama viongozi wa Meru, kwa sababu matatizo ya Meru hayawezi kutatuliwa na viongozi wa kutoka Isiolo, hayawezi kuchaguliwa na viongozi kutoka Mombasa, wala viongozi kutoka sehemu yoyote, isipokuwa watu wa Meru wenyewe wakae chini waangalie matatizo haya waweze kuamua, ili watu wa Meru waweze kupata maendeleo kama ilivyotarajiwa na katiba yetu ya mwaka 2010. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa kumalizia ni kwamba tumepata fursa ya kujua matatizo ya Meru, na fursa hii ni fursa ambayo iko katika kaunti zetu zote ambazo tuko nazo katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Na isiwe kwamba wakitoka hapa mmoja amesema mimi nimeshinda. La, watakaokuwa wameshinda ni watu wa Meru kupata uongozi na kupata viongozi ambao watasaidia kupeleka kaunti ya Meru mbele. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Senator Meru.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to speak to this motion. Honorable Speaker, this evening I've been called upon to make a very difficult decision. A decision that if we send Governor Kawira home, then her career comes to a grinding halt. Honorable Speaker, as it has been said, the threshold of an impeachment has been set in Article 181 of the Constitution of Kenya. It has also been very well spelled out in the precedents that have been set in the decision of the High Court in the Wambora case and in the decision of the Court of Appeal in the Wambora case, Honorable Speaker. Well, I thank the County Assembly for, because it is within their functions to process an impeachment. When I looked at the charges that have been placed against the Governor of Meru, Honorable Speaker, as a person who sits in the Public Accounts Committee, I looked at the evidence that was adduced in charge number 1, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. And Honorable Speaker, as a member who sits in that committee, we all agree that an infamous extract cannot become evidence as to why and how the Governor of Meru is corrupt on this particular charge, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on the charge number 2, on nepotism and unrelated ethical practices, when the council and the team from the County Assembly was called upon to come and give evidence in chief as to how the Governor of Meru is nepotistic, Honorable Speaker, they told us that it is public knowledge that the people that are in those photos are her relatives, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, how am I supposed to know that a person that appears in a photo is a relative of Senator Olekina, is my own relative? Many people have said that the person who was playing guitar on this video looks like myself. How am I not? How, Mr. Speaker, is it that finally, Honorable Speaker, on charge number 3, on bullying, vilification, and demeaning of other leaders, Honorable Speaker, The evidence that was brought by the county assembly was of a man playing guitar here, singing when you wajinyonge. You know, that was the accusation that the Governor Kawira demeans other leaders. On the contrary, Honorable Speaker, the video that was played by the defense of the governor, Honorable Speaker, it printed an image of a patriarchal community, you know, deep, painful images that I would never want. My own children, my own wife, Honorable Speaker. That is not the society that we would want for our daughters, Honorable Speaker. It is not a mistake for anybody to become a leader and she's a woman, Honorable Speaker. It is not a mistake, Honorable Speaker, and it is not the way that we can encourage our girls to become leaders, Honorable Speaker, that when you are a leader, if you disagree with other people, they use sexuality to harass you, Honorable Speaker.
Now, Honorable Senators, at this juncture, I will call the Governor. Governor Kawira, you have 10 minutes to address the Senate. The order, Honorable Senators, order. Honorable Kawira, you can take the stand, you have 10 minutes. Order, Honorable Senators. Order, Senators. Senator Gloria Oroba, leave the chamber immediately. Heston, please. Heston or the Sergeant at Arms will help you. Proceed, Governor.
Honorable Speaker.
Order, Senators. Let us hear the Governor in silence, please.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable members.
Order, Senators. Let us hear the Governor in silence.
Honorable Speaker and Honorable Senators of this House, I want to take this opportunity to really thank you for your time. I know it has not been easy for you. God bless you for your time. Honorable Speaker, I'm here today pleading with this House. And I want to say it in Kiswahili. Mateso ni mengi, lakini Mungu tusaidia. If I have wronged any person in this House, in Meru, in Kenya, I pray for forgiveness. As a mother, a leader, it is my duty to unite Meru people. And I pray for more grace, that God will give me power to bring all the leaders together. I pray unto our Father to give me more energy, to give me more grace. Na Mungu anipe kuvumilia kwingi to see Meru people happy. The members of Parliament, our dear Deputy Senator of this House, the MCAs, Deputy Speaker, If I've wronged any one of you, forgive me. Honorable Speaker, I was elected as an independent governor. I know I need MCS. I've tried my best, and I shall still continue trying my best to see that I work with everyone. Honorable Speaker and this Honorable House, no one is an angel. I'm not an angel. Each and every one of us has his or her own weaknesses. It is my prayer to God that the weaknesses that they might have, God will help me, so that we work together as a team and make Meru people happy. Honorable Speaker, honorable members of this House, I take this opportunity again to say thank you, and I pray that you give me a second chance. God bless you.
Honorable Senators, I will allow the Senator for Meru 5 minutes to address the House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity also to make my contribution to the motion. And Honorable Speaker, on the onset is maybe to challenge the procedure, because I wish we are making these comments after we did the voting. Because, Honorable Speaker, if we hear the comments of many senators here, even the Madam Governor, it's like we have concluded the business and still we are to cast our votes. So, Mr. Speaker, nevertheless, I want to say that this House, on Article 96(1) of the Constitution, the Senate represents counties and serves to protect the interests of the counties and their governments. And Mr. Speaker, I wish before any governor is brought to this House to prosecute any impeachment procedure or process, this House can be able to go to that particular county, understand the issues that have been released by the members of the county assembly of that particular county. Mr. Speaker, you know I live in Meru, and even tomorrow I'll be traveling to Meru. All the 47 or the 67 senators who are here, they don't live in Meru. So, Mr. Speaker, I wish during this process, at some point, before the governor is brought to this assembly or this House, there is a process that can be an intermediary in a way that these issues can be canvassed. And I want to thank Senator Omtata in his, what he is trying to do in his petition. I wish a tribunal can be set up. A tribunal can be able to sit with the MCs, with the governor, with the leaders of that particular county, so that they can be heard by that tribunal. But when any governor is impeached and brought to the Senate immediately and directly, members of that particular county loses that opportunity to prosecute the issues, Honorable Speaker. So on this particular case, let me say that Meru, where I live, we have a problem, and a big one, Mr. Speaker. And you have heard the governor has confessed that she has some weaknesses that she will pray on to help her overcome. So that tells us that there is a problem in Meru, and Mr. Speaker, it is not the way we put our steps, we clap, we shout, but Meru has issues that need to be addressed. And because Meru is not living in a vacuum, I want to address the head of state, His Excellency the President, to take charge and understand what is in Meru, what is ailing Meru County. I want to thank the MCAs. They have done their work excellently. There is no way that 59 MCAs can be logged or manned that they impeached the governor for the third time. The MCAs have issues that they have raised in their petition. But also, Mr. Speaker, you know, unless these gentlemen and ladies are hanged, then we can never solve Meru issues. As I speak here, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell this House and convince them enough that Meru has issues, has problems. And also, Mr. Speaker, when we see creeps print in vernacular, I also wanted to actually challenge also that process of executing these witnesses. When a creep is print in vernacular, some are not audible, and then what is translated might not be what was said. So what do we have to say that this script is very articulate? So, Mr. Speaker, what I want to request my colleagues here, as we make this decision, look to all the counts. Let us not bring down to only one issue about women. This thing called Keberi, is it an instrument or this used to style porridge or maziwarara? So, Mr. Speaker, that particular creep, to me, as a Meru Linda, I think there was a misrepresentation of the meaning of that particular creep, Mr. Speaker. So as we also make our decision, I hope the Senate can still review those creeps.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, your time is up. Now, honorable senators, at this juncture, I will call upon the mover to reply.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I've had opportunity to listen to colleague senators, and of course the views are far and wide, as you would imagine. Many agree, many disagree with what has been spoken about here. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to humbly plead with the House that immediately after this procedure, please let us conclude the impeachment procedure bill. We cannot be the House that is castigating county assemblies for not having lived up to the dictates of our Constitution, yet as a Senate for 3 terms, we have not been able to guide our county assemblies on how to properly carry out an impeachment. It is my humble submission, Mr. Speaker, that the County Assembly of Meru did their job exceptionally well. In fact, Mr. Speaker, because you are drawing close, to me, there are certain charges among SS7 that the County Assembly has proved beyond reasonable doubt. Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that we find ourselves in such a situation where I think, like one senator has said, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I want to reiterate as I conclude, Mr. Speaker, what I prescribed earlier in my moving notes, that either way, whether we save Governor Kawira or whether we impeach her, Meru people will still need the guidance of this House, because there are no easy way out of the current situation. The failure that exists in Meru is far and beyond either saving or impeaching a particular governor. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to request our colleagues that let's conclude this exercise. Cast your vote with your conscience. Listen to what the people of Meru are saying. You cannot, Mr. Speaker, openly side and say that certain leaders have spoken about things that do not impress you. While we have seen that actually it appears to be a culture in Meru where every leader, including none other than this Governor Kawira, who's here with us, say very foul things to each other. That is a bad culture that we need not encourage in our politics. Therefore, my final words, Mr. Speaker, to Governor Kawira, I don't know whether we will survive or fall, but Governor, take time to read the Bible. Don't just preach. If you read the Bible, you will find answers to some of the questions that continue to follow you. It cannot be, like many have observed, that all these 59 MCAs that are saying in less than 1 year, on 2 occasions, that you are unfit to hold office and they be thoroughly wrong. There is something that you need to soul search and find deep within yourself to reflect, Madam Governor. And should perhaps God grant you grace and you continue to serve these people, please change your ways and find it in your heart to work with other leaders. That is not to say that I know how this vote will go. It is now the opportunity of the 47 delegations. Mr. Speaker, I'm being told to talk to the MPs, but they are our colleagues, Madam Speaker, and you know, many of them actually, anyway, I don't want to be, Mr. Speaker, we are really pressed for time, and I want senators to vote before midnight. And I think I have said everything that I need to say. I think if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. I thank you.
Now, honorable senators, pursuant to Standing Order 84-1, I do make a determination that this matter indeed affects counties and therefore voting shall be by delegations. I will direct the Sergeant at Arms to ring the bell for 10 minutes. Now, the reason why the bell needs to be rung for 10 minutes, the system needs to reboot. It has been overstretched beyond its limit. If we start voting now, it's going to collapse. So for those 10 minutes, the system will reboot, and then voting shall be done electronically. Thank you.
Well, a debate on the motion on hearing and determination of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the governor of Meru County, has just come to a conclusion. The speaker has directed that a 10-minute bell, this is a division bell, because once the debate is over, then the members will be going into voting on the charges that have been leveled against Governor of Meru, Honorable Kawira Mwangaza. These charges are 7 charges. And what we have just seen is that the members, a few members, of course, going by the time constraints, a few members of the Senate managed to give their opinions and views on the evidence and the presentations that were done by both parties, that is the County Assembly of Meru and the executive, that is the governor's side. The charges include misappropriation, meaning other leaders, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers, contempt of court, illegally naming a public road after husband, as well as contempt over the assembly. So these are the 7 charges that the governor of Meru County is facing. And the 10-minute bell, that is the division bell, is just to put in place the measures that will be guiding in the voting process. Remember, 47 of the senators will be taking a vote as directed by the speaker, indicating that the vote will be by delegation. By delegation, this is under the Standing Order number 83 on county delegation, that each county delegation shall have one vote to be cast on behalf of the county by the head of the county delegation, or in the absence of the head of the delegation, by another member of the delegation designed by the head of the delegation. So in 10 minutes, these members will be going into division. The Speaker has already directed that division will be done by electronic voting. This is pursuant to Standing Order number 86. That indicates that unless the Speaker, for the convenience of the Senate, otherwise directs, voting on any division in the Senate shall be by electronic voting. When the Speaker directs that an electronic vote be taken, the division bell, which is what is currently underway, 10 minutes in this manner, but in the standing order, it indicates that when the Speaker directs that an electronic vote be taken, the division bell shall be rung for 5 minutes, and the Senate shall proceed to a vote at the expiry of the 5 minutes, or such further time as the Speaker may, for the convenience of the Senate, direct. And that is exactly what the Speaker has done. For the convenience of the Senate, the Speaker has directed that the division bell be rung for 10 minutes. As you can see, members there preparing to be able to come back and take that vote. Remember, these are 7 charges, and each charge will be voted on. Members will be taking a vote on each and every charge and give their views and opinion on how these charges have been, how each and every charge has been substantiated or not substantiated with regards to the evidence and the presentations that have been done by the two parties, both the governor's side as well as the county assembly side. So each member will be casting a vote on each of this charge, depending on how he or she feels whether it has been substantiated or not substantiated. Standing Order 86 per 3 indicates that during electronic voting, senators shall cast their votes by presenting the yes, no, or abstain button. So as we do this broadcast, there will be a broadcast of the voting process, and we shall be showing you how the voting is counting, or how the voting is taking place. How many senators will be voting yes on each charge, how many senators will be voting no on each charge, and if there is any that will choose to abstain from voting on any of the charges, that will be read out by the Speaker as he guides the House into voting on these allegations that have been made by the County Assembly of Meru against the County Governor, that is Honorable Kawira Mwangaza. We understand that both parties are still in the chambers and they will be witnessing this voting as it takes place. So we will be seeing 3 results, should I say, or sides: those who are saying yes to a charge, those who will be saying no to a charge, and those who may choose to abstain from voting either yes or no. Standing Order 86 on electronic voting, Part 4 indicates that at the expiry of the 5 minutes, or as soon as the result of the voting appears on the indicator board, the Speaker or the chairperson, as the case may be, in this case is the Speaker, shall announce the results of the division forthwith. But of course, we understand that we will also be able to view the results as they trickle in this case. Each and every member will be directed to take a vote on each of the charges. And once the voting starts, then we will be able to broadcast and show you how the numbers are trickling in on that particular board. And once the Speaker reads out the results of the division, then we will be able also to see that the vote has been cast in one way or the other. A senator who is not able to cast his or her vote due to any reason considered sufficient by the Speaker may, before the result of the division is announced and after obtaining the permission of the Speaker, have his or her vote recorded verbally. by stating whether he or she is in favor of or against the question. Remember, once in a while we have seen division taking place at the Senate, and there have been challenges on the electronic voting that has sometimes necessitated the House to go into roll call voting. So we are not hoping that, or we are not seeing any challenges at the moment, but should such a challenge arise, then a senator will be given an opportunity to cast their vote verbally. If the electronic vote refuses to work altogether, then members of the Senate will go into division through the roll call voting. This is also an option that is available in the House Standing Order 88, where in case of a failure of an electronic voting, then the House can opt to do the roll call voting. Remember, 47 members, that is the county delegation, 47 members of the Senate, these are elected members, will be casting their vote. And in this case, for a charge to be termed as having been substantiated or not substantiated, then the number has to be 25. This is more than half of the senators in the chamber, or the elected senators. So we are looking at 25 members to be voting in one way for it to be having termed as a complete vote or a complete decision by the senators. So once we go back into the division process or the voting process, then the members will be looking at having a 25 number there for it to be able to move to the next stage in all the charges that have been forwarded to the Senate with regards to the removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, who is the governor of Meru County. So once the 10-minute quorum, or rather division bell lapses, then the Speaker, of course, will call the House to order, and each senator will be required to log out of their electronic devices, then again log in. By that, then that means that the process will be picking up at the same time, and each member will be allowed to be able to cast their vote, and then the numbers will be showing on the board, and we will be able to broadcast it to you wherever you are, and you'll be able to see the votes as they come in on that particular board. Remember, this is a live broadcast that has been brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. We have been broadcasting this at 2-day trial for you live, and you have been keenly following these proceedings. We have seen members giving their opinions and views with regards to the presentation that has been made. Some indicating that they will not be allowing what has been termed as gender-based violence in a way, following the videos that have been broadcasted as evidence in the chambers. And of course, that is one of the issues that we have seen senators extensively touching on in their debate as the presentations were over, and the House had gotten into the debate session on the motion that is the motion on the removal from office by impeachment of the Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza. So if you are just joining us, then just remember that we are at the tail end of this 2-day trial. There have been processes from Tuesday at 9 a.m. when the hearing process began. And today, remember, it was a 2-day trial, 2 days appointed. That was the 7th of November and the 8th of November appointed for this particular hearing, or rather impeachment hearing. And at this moment, the Senate is rushing against time. Remember, it was only 2 days, that is the 7th and 8th of November, to have completed this particular hearing, investigated the case, and did make a determination and find out whether the allegations or accusations that have been leveled against the governor can be substantiated or not, and give a communication on the same. So what will be coming up after the bell is that the senators will be taking their vote on this particular day in a manner that has been termed to be an electronic voting. But should there be any challenges in the electronic voting, then the House may opt to go the roll call voting way. The roll call standing order number 88 indicates that when the Speaker directs a roll call vote to be taken, the division bell shall be rung for 5 minutes. But currently it is a division bell that members are putting themselves in order to be able to come back and vote electronically. That is the first approach that members usually use in such a case. Once they choose, all right, allow me to hand you over. It seems like the 10 minutes is done. Allow me to hand you over for the voting process.
We're good? Order. Honorable Senators, kindly take your seats. Honorable Senators, kindly take your seats. Senator Mandago, why are you holding hands? Order, honorable senators, let us take our seats. Sergeant at Arms, kindly proceed to close the doors and draw the bars. Now, honorable senators, before we proceed to vote, allow me to bring clarity to this process so that there are no mistakes as we proceed to vote. We are voting 7 times because the charges are 7. So we'll call one charge, you vote. We move to the other charge, we vote, until we come to the very last 7th charge. Now, I want to make it clear. These are 7 charges. If one of them is substantiated, Her Excellency Governor Kawira ceases being a governor of Meru, even if it's just one charge that has been substantiated. If I call the charge, if you vote yes, it means you're saying that charge has been substantiated. If you vote no, you're saying that charge has not been substantiated. So that clarity is important so that we don't make mistakes as we proceed on this very important Now, honorable senators, voting shall be done electronically. And this juncture, therefore, I will call upon the delegates to log out. Sergeant at Arms, I want you to go around and pull out any card, any delegate card that is still inside the delegate unit. Once you have done that, Sergeant at Arms, kindly confirm so that we move to the next step. At this juncture, honorable senators, you must be holding your card, your delegate card, in your hands. Sergeant at Arms, you are waiting for your signal. Good. Now, honorable senators, proceed to log back. Log back into the delegate units. So before you proceed to vote, I will now put the question, which is that whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, on Wednesday, 25th of October 2023, the Meru County Assembly approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. Whereas by a letter reference M/Cares Volume 4/43, dated the 26th of October 2023, and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Friday, 27th of October 2023, the Speaker of Meru County Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of a motion by the County Assembly and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. Further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 80 of the Senate heard the County Assembly on the grounds for removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. And further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 80, the Senate also heard the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza on the grounds for her proposed removal from office by impeachment as the Governor of Meru County. Now, therefore, Honorable Senators, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 80, the Senate resolves to remove from office by impeachment the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County, on the following charges. Charge 1, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. Charge 2, nepotism and related unethical practices. Charge 3, bullying, vilification, and demeaning other leaders. Charge number 4, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers. Charge number 5, contempt of court. Charge number 6, illegally naming a public road after her husband. And lastly, charge number 7, contempt of the Assembly. Honorable Senators, I further guide that we shall have a separate vote for each charge. There will therefore be 7 separate votes. We shall now proceed to vote, starting with charge number 1, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. You may proceed to vote. Honorable Senators, after you've voted, you sit in silence. Now, honorable senators, we shall move to charge number 2, nepotism and related unethical practices. You may proceed to vote. Honorable senators, we shall now proceed to charge number 3, bullying, vilification, and demeaning other leaders. You may proceed to vote. Honorable senators, we now move to charge number 4, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers. You may now proceed to vote. Honorable Gataya, you're out of order, and I call you to order. The Honorable Senator Tom Ojenda proceed to dispatch and cast your vote. Honorable Senators, we shall now move to charge number 5, contempt of court. You may proceed to vote. Honorable Senators, we shall now move to charge number 6, illegally naming of a public road after her husband. You may proceed to vote. Now, honorable senators, we shall proceed to the last charge. Now, to the members of public, depending on which side you are, and depending on how the voting will be done on this last charge, you must be silent. To the parties, it matters not the outcome of the vote on the last charge. You must be seated in silence. To the members who are seated in the speaker's gallery, it matters not the outcome of the vote on the last charge. You must sit in silence. Charge number 7, contempt of the assembly. Senators, you may now proceed to vote. Senator Siango, take your seat. Honorable senators, the results of the division are as follows. Charge number 1, misappropriation and misuse of county resources. Ayes 19, nays 28. The nays have it. Charge number 2, nepotism and related unethical practices. Ayes 5, nays 42, abstain 0, the nays have it. Charge number 3, bullying, vilification and demeaning other leaders. Ayes 3, nays 44, abstain 0, the nays have it. Charge number 4, illegal appointments and usurpation of statutory powers. The ayes 20 votes, nays 27 votes, abstain 0 vote, the nays have it. Charge number 5, contempt of court. The ayes 3 votes, the nays 44 votes, abstain 0, so the nays have it. Charge number 6, illegally naming a public road after her husband. Ayes 4 votes, the nays 43 votes, abstain 0, so the nays have it. Charge number 7, contempt of the assembly. Ayes 10 votes, nays 37 votes, abstain 0, so the nays have it. Now, honorable senators, Section 33(7) of the County Governments Act provide as follows. If a majority of all members of the Senate vote to uphold any impeachment charge, the governor shall cease to hold office. Honorable senators, the result of the division indicate that the Senate has not upheld any of the impeachment charges. Pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33(8) of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order 87 of the Senate Standing Orders, the Senate has failed to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. And the Governor accordingly continues to hold office. You may now withdraw the bars and open the doors. Now, to the parties, you shall stay seated as the senators exit the chamber. Likewise, the people who are in the public gallery, you will stay seated as the senators leave the chamber. And for those who are seated in the public gallery, you shall stay seated as the senators leave the chamber. Honorable senators, you may now rise. Senator Sotsi. Order, honorable senators, order. Honorable senators, there being no other business on the order paper, the Senate stands adjourned until Tuesday, 14th of November 2023 at 2:30 p.m. I thank you. That communication was communicated here by Senator Muma. For those who attend sessions, they know.
Well, that is the end of the two-day trial of the proposed removal from office of Governor Kawira by impeachment, a resolution that was reached by the County Assembly, but the governor has survived the impeachment. The Speaker has just given the results of the division with the 7 charges, and the 47 senators participated in the vote. None of them chose to abstain, and in all those 7 charges, with all the 47 senators participating in the charge, none of the charges was substantiated. All of them turned out unsubstantiated, thereby saving the governor, and the governor, of course, will continue to do her duties as demanded by the position she holds. But we understand, of course, with the Standing Order 80, the Speaker will be communicating. Standing Order 87 indicates that if a vote in the Senate fails to result in the removal of the governor, the Speaker of the Senate shall notify the Speaker of the concerned county according, and the motion by this Assembly for the removal of the governor on the same charges may only be reintroduced to the Senate after the expiry of 3 months. Well, that has been the end of this live broadcast of the 2-day trial, and the result is, as you have seen, the governor has survived that particular impeachment on behalf of the directors for the PBU and KBC, Doris Gitonga, Bernard Timbe, and Mudhoni. The sound, Evelyn Chalo, Ruben Musimi. Camera persons, Jim Odhiambo, David Gashagwa, Alan Kigali. My name is Kamche Menza. We've been glad that you've joined us throughout this proceeding, and I will now hand you over back to our studios at KEBC. That's it from here. Bye. Good night.